In this lesson, we're going to be talking about different types of cryptographic ciphers, and primarily we're going to be talking about DES, triple DES, and AES. DES is the digital encryption standard. It was developed by IBM in the 1970s. Originally, it was a cryptographic cipher named Lucifer, and after some modifications, IBM proposed it as the digital encryption standard, and it was selected to be the digital encryption standard, and ever since then it's been known as DES or DES. One thing that caused a little bit of controversy was during the process of selection, NSA requested some changes, and it hasn't been particularly clear what changes were requested by the NSA. There has been some speculation that wondered if the NSA was requesting a backdoor into this digital encryption standard, which would allow them to look at encrypted messages in the clear. So basically, it would always give the NSA the ability to decrypt DES encrypted messages. It remained the encryption standard for the next couple of decades or so. So what is DES and how does it work? It uses 56-bit keys rather than a stream cipher. It's a block cipher, and it uses 64-bit blocks. In 1998, DES was effectively broken when a DES encrypted message was cracked in 3 days. A year later, a network of 10,000 systems around the world cracked a DES encrypted message in less than a day. And it's just gotten worse since then, with modern computing power being what it is. Since DES was encrypted and the writing was on the wall for a little while, we knew we needed something else. So along comes triple DES. Triple DES isn't 3 times the strength of DES necessarily. It's really DES applied 3 times. And what I mean by that, what we do is we take a plain text message, and let's call that P, and we're going to use a key that we'll call K1, and we're going to use that key to encrypt the message, and that's going to result in ciphertext, and we'll call that C1. So with C1, the output of the first round of encryption, we're going to apply a second key, and we'll call that K2. With that second key, we are going to go through a decryption process on C1. Since it's the wrong key, we're not going to get plain text out the other end. What we are going to get is another round of ciphertext, and we'll call that C2. With C2, we're going to apply a third key. We'll call that third key K3, and we're going to encrypt the ciphertext C2, and that's going to result in another round of ciphertext that we'll call C3. So we have 3 different keys applied in 2 different ways. So with key 1 and key 3, we do a round of encryption, and with K2, we do a round of decryption. So it's an encrypt, decrypt, encrypt process with 3 separate keys. While that doesn't really yield a full 168-bit key size, the 3 rounds of encryption yield an effective key size of 168 bits because you have to find 3 56-bit keys. So speaking of that, technical details for triple DES. We're still using the DES block cipher with 56-bit keys, but since we've got 3 different keys, we get an effective key length of 168 bits. Triple DES was really just a stopgap measure, however. We knew that it was broken, and if you could decrypt a DES message, it probably wouldn't be all that long before you could decrypt triple DES messages as well. As a result, NIST requested proposals for an advanced encryption standard. That was in 1999, and in 2001, NIST published an algorithm called Reindahl as AES. So this algorithm that was originally called Reindahl was published by NIST as the Advanced Encryption Standard. Some technical specifications about AES. The original Reindahl algorithm specified variable block sizes and key lengths, and as long as those block sizes and key lengths were multiples of 32 bits, so 32, 64, 96, and so on, you could use those block sizes and key lengths. When AES was published, AES specified a fixed 128-bit block size and key lengths of 128, 192, and 256 bits. So we've got, with AES, 3 different key lengths, but 1 block size. And that's a little bit of detail about DES, 3DES, and AES, and we'll use some of these in doing some hands-on work in subsequent lessons.